Committee on Aviation, Ground Transportation, Regulatory Concerns, and Future Generations now convenes this hearing. In accordance with the Open Government Law, public notices were sent to the media on Wednesday, June 18, 2014, and again on Monday, June 23, 2014. For the record, today is Wednesday, June 25, 2014, and the time is now 10:02 a.m. The committee has invited representatives of the Department of Public Works and the department's Bus Operations Division to provide an update on the readiness of the school bus fleet for the upcoming school year. Joining me for this hearing, to my immediate right is Senator Frank Uggan. Thank you, sir. To my immediate left is Senator Linya Mashida. And to her immediate left is Senator Chris Duenas. Gentlemen, we've been through hearings before, so I'm not going to go through all the formalities here. I would like to just go ahead and begin by saying good job. The last school year, we had very, very few, if any, major concerns that came up. I remember over the years, just every now and then there'd be certain periods of the year where the busing would really come out as a major issue. But in the last school year, it was a real smooth operation. So I wanted to open up the oversight hearing by saying thank you guys very much for a job well done for school year 2014. And unless Mr. Malay can attest otherwise, I think it was a great busing year. So congratulations to the Department of Public Works on a great year. Thank you very much. With that, I'm looking forward to what you guys have to share with us. I'm sure Mr. Malay as well, with respect to what we can anticipate for the upcoming school year. Again, always a process of continuous improvement. We know that DPW would always like as many resources as possible and as many assets and as many boots on the ground to be able to service the students. So let's see what you guys got in store for us. Carl, whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Senator Yamashita, Senator Duenas, and Senator Uggan. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for the not only the invitation, but your kind words to start off this presentation. My name is Carl Dominguez. I'm the director. I'd like to introduce the team here at the table to give you the presentation. We're going to share the presentation with you and the members of the committee. To my immediate left is Deputy Director Jesse Paligan. To my immediate right is our Controller Arlene Pierce. And to the left is Paul Cepeda, our Superintendent of Transportation Maintenance, the service side of the house. And then to his left is Franklin Titano, the Superintendent of Bus Operations. To my rear are the men and women of, some of the men and women at Department of Public Works, most of whom here in the room are intimately involved in the school bus operation. So thank you for having us again. We last made a presentation to you last year, July, and since that time we have added service to Southern Christian Academy down in Agate. We've added service to the Guahan Charter School, and we started the operation of the school bus interchange at the Agana Shopping Center. So really those are the three new major things that happened since our last presentation. And except for a few minor things at the beginning of the school year, I do want to say, Mr. Chairman, that yes, it's been a pretty good year for us. I've probably in the 3.5 years that I've been at DPW, this was the one school year that I had the least number of people calling me up to complain about the school bus operations. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm mostly thankful for the men and women at Department of Public Works who day in and day out work very hard to make the operation go as smoothly as it does. Okay, so let's get the presentation started. Next slide, please. We want to cover who we service. On this slide, we took the figure that Mr. Malay gave us on the number of students enrolled in the public school system for the 2013-2014 school year that just passed by, and he gave us a figure of a little over 31,000. So we adjusted that to 28,000 because many students don't take the bus. The public school students don't take the bus. They either walk to school or their parents drop them off and pick them up. And so this is what we came up $28,000 for the figure. On the private schools side, we kept the figure that we gave you last year of 1980, even though we did add the Southern High School, the Southern Christian Academy. We kept it at 1980. So this is the split. When you add these two, you get roughly 30,000 students bused by us every school day, and this is the percentage split of this nearly 30,000 students. In this pie chart, we have on the green side the northern region of Guam, and this pie chart, these sections here represent the population of students, not the buses that service them, but the population of students. So over here you can see that the northern takes a big chunk. It's serviced by the Jigo and Dededo and Tumuning substations. In red is the central region, and it services by the Barrigada and Ordot substations. And then finally the southern region, which is serviced by the Agad, Jotnya, and Inarajan substations. And this represents the nearly 30,000 students I showed you in the previous slide. Thank you. The bus fleet, here are the 60 passenger Bluebird buses. We still have the one bus. It's now 24 years old. When I started out at DPW and we brought down the one school bus here, it was 22 years old a couple of years ago. It's still roadworthy, and so now you can see the number of buses in the Bluebird buses anyway in the fleet that are and their ages. And but the last time we made the presentation, even then we said that these buses are beyond their typical life cycle, but our transportation maintenance people have done just a fabulous job keeping them roadworthy. We had a slide like this last year. The buses that we bought from Dodea, they're also 60 passengers. They're different brands, and you can see again the ages of the buses. They're beyond their typical life cycle, but we keep them roadworthy. Thomas-built buses, a different brand, 60 passengers again. They're not quite as old. We have them at 9 and 10 years old, so these are, I think, within that life cycle range still. And so we have 58 of those buses. And finally, we have the 10 buses that we received last year. They're Thomas-built. They're 84 passengers. They're the largest buses that we have, and we've had a good year with those buses, but obviously because they're new. Okay, we put the slide in, Mr. Chairman, because of the $250,000 appropriation we received for the fleet and fuel management monitoring system. It's in procurement right now. It's in procurement. I can't tell you this morning when it'll go out to bid, but it is the end of June, and we were given, I believe, a year to encumber the money. So I'm hoping we can encumber the money before September 30th. But I'll keep you posted. Okay. So this is a summary of the buses, the number of buses that we have in the fleet, and I want to turn over now to Paul Cepeda to just even though they're inventory, we have a couple of buses or more that I'll let Paul explain the situation with those buses.
Good morning, Senator. Paul Cepeda, Superintendent Transportation Maintenance Division. Even though the total fleet is showing 139, we have 2 buses that are proposed or pending survey. It hasn't been taken off the list until we actually do the survey form and take it off. So it'll be down to probably 137 by the end of the year or by the beginning of the school year.
Okay, bus personnel.
Just on that, Carl, if I could
yes.
just ask real quick.
Sure.
Now, I know that we procured the 10 in 2014, and so that brought us to 139. Now we're going to lose the 2 and take us down to 137. But we didn't start the year at 139. We started the year at what?
129.
129. So we're actually going to be starting this school year with 8 more buses than we had last school year.
Yes, if you minus the 2 for
Yeah,
survey.
minus the 2.
Yeah.
So we're looking at starting the school year 8 stronger than we did last school year.
Yes, but I'm not, Paul, will we have the full complement of bus
operation up and
Yeah,
running?
actually roadworthy.
No.
I think I remember that we were at that 120 number,
Yes.
but we actually had 119 roadworthy at actual start. That number stands out in my head.
Yes, and on that particular first day of school, that particular day, we had 119 roadworthy buses.
Yeah.
You are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now we're at 137 potential, but what are we looking at maybe roadworthy?
Right now, as of today, we got 119 operational. So I probably the most between 120, 125 the most.
120, 125?
Yeah, optimistically 125.
And that's if all the parts and material supplies that we order come in on time before the school ends. So
Okay. So we started school year last year with 119 roadworthy. We brought in the 10 new ones. We're still at 119 right now.
yes.
So we basically lost 10 then over the course of the school year. We lost 10 operational because we brought in 10 new
10
ones,
new ones.
but we're still at
Oh, yeah.
119.
I should talk about
Okay, but we're going to get that back up to maybe 125 hopefully.
hopefully.
When we say we lost them, what we mean is they're in various stages of disrepair.
Yeah.
And some are pretty major, engines and transmissions, and then some are for, something called like a leaf spring. And unfortunately, these items are not kept on the shelf on Guam by the suppliers, so they have to be special ordered. And then there's the procurement cycle, and then there's the delivery cycle that's involved. So
Well, I mean, how long does it take to get the part?
Anywhere from a month to 3 months
or more.
or more.
Really, huh? That's just to buy a part that we know we all agree we need, but it's just all the hoops that has to be jumped through for the whole process. That's incredible.
Some we do keep in stock. The main things we keep in stock is what we call fast moving for PM service, brakes, wipers, lights. Those are kept in stock. But the unforeseen, like leaf springs, engines, differentials, those we don't stock.
One of the things, Senator, we don't want to get into is ordering major pricey parts, and then they go on the shelf, and then it ends up that they're on the shelf sitting for months or years, and then we can't use them, and just we want to be careful how we order our parts as well.
Do these parts, like, are they generally interchangeable, like, for example, private sector bus parts? Do they have, because what I'm trying to think about here is, some kind of maybe public-private partnership where, I can see how it would be not cost-effective for us to have that part on the shelf, given our fleet and the potential for that part to be, called up. But given the fleets of all the buses, public and private, if we can come to some kind of an agreement where, we're going to be able to work with that kind of demand cycle. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some of the tour buses that are out there, no, they don't. But there is a company that has Bluebird, Thomasville buses. Those parts might be interchangeable. I haven't looked into that, but they might be. Because there were one school buses before, and I seen them out in the road, so they might be interchangeable.
But then it would be subject, I would think, to whether the private vendor would retire the buses, because why would they sell us a leaf spring, for example, if their bus is roadworthy anyway? And my guess is those slow moving parts, because they are pricey. My guess is the private vendor also doesn't stock them up. They special order them as well. That's my guess. I'm not sure.
But they probably don't have to wait 6 months.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, but they don't have.
They buy it tomorrow and it comes in 3 weeks?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Sure, Chris. Senator Duenas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to get Paul. Are you on a blanket purchase order on this type of arrangement, or is it you cut one as needed?
When we first started the school year, we have a blanket purchase order. That's for items that, let's say, it's pending purchase, waiting for it to come in, then we'll pick it up. But it's a certain amount only we have. The rest of the stuff, like the leaf spring, they don't even stock it here.
Yeah.
So that has to be ordered. Brake drums, they don't stock it here. That has to be ordered. And now that's only ordered as needed when it goes down for it. Because like the director said, if I'm going to stock a leaf spring, that's going to cost a couple $100, and then we survey their bus, and it's still there and supplied, then that's kind of bad on me. So those major items we order as needed.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if do you have a source, or do you have to do that the whole process
The whole
of
process.
the competitive?
Yeah, getting a quotation, doing a requisition, sending it out to GSA, then the whole process.
Yeah, I think we need to work on that.
Yeah, we'll look at that more closely.
Yeah,
You
because I
know?
mean, if we're saving $50, but yet we know our source and we have a reliable source that we've been getting parts from every time, I mean, it's costing us thousands to keep that bus down. And if we need to work with the system to say, you start the year generally with, and you're going to end the year with a purchase of anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000 in major durable parts, and you got a reliable, you've been doing this forever, Paul, and you source somebody to say, I could turn this around in 2 weeks instead of 2 months. If GSA will allow me to have this blanket BPO with this budget and get on an email and say, I need this on a boat tomorrow, I think there might be something we can do. So, Chairman, I think we'll, after this.
Yeah,
we'll-
absolutely.
Thank you.
So we're looking at ideally 125 by start of school year.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to give Mr. Malay also and the school district an idea of, are we going to see the same kind of scheduling with the buses, or are we going to be able to maybe enhance some of the times that we operate? Okay, Carl, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This section of slides, I'll turn over to Franklin Tite now.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Senators.
Use your mic on.
My name is Frank Dyson, and I'm the Superintendent for Bus Operations. If you look at the slide, it says 113 active drivers, 9 supervisors, 11 that are on medical issues, 4 from the administrative side, and we're in the process of recruiting 5 new bus drivers. On the active bus drivers, in the last month, we lost 4 to resignation. We still have the 9 supervisors. One, like I said earlier, is going to, he's a short timer, he's retiring. Then the 11 medical issues, we're working with DOA on those to see what their capacity is and how much more longer they're going to be on medical issues. And then the 4 administrative staff is myself and the ladies in the office. The 5 bus drivers that we're recruiting, we're working with DOA right now. We just did an interview last week, but some of the interview panels were off island, so we're waiting for that. And I know that there's a new law that says we can hire the retiree bus drivers, but we still have a long listing at DOA. So once that listing is gone, there's a couple of them already that's been to the office to turn in applications from the retirees. So we're looking at that angle.
On the operations personnel, so the 113, that's after we've lost the 4, or I less 4 from that, so we actually have 109.
After we left the 4.
Okay, so
After we
it
lost
was
the 4.
117, now it's 113.
Yes.
Okay, so we're adding the 5s, that's going to bring us up to 118.
Yes.
Now, the buses, though, we're going to look at 125, so we have more buses than drivers.
If you have more buses than drivers, sometimes it's good like that
Yeah,
because
something breaks
today
down.
your bus don't work, so you still have another bus to use.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm just trying to make sure also that as we bring those new buses in, that, we're not going to have underutilization. But you guys know how to balance that out best. So you think that 118 is going to be enough to work with the 125 buses? And you don't have a driver shortage?
We do have a driver shortage, but we're working with DOA a little at a time to get it going.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is DOA's, processing it fluidly, or is there any kind of unusual delays?
Well,
or?
as an employee leaves the department, whether through retirement, resignation, or for whatever reason, what we do is we prepare his GG1 for him leaving, and we prepare a GG1 for recruit. So it's got to go through the BBMR DOA before we can even start processing for interview.
So you don't prepare the GG1 to recruit until after you prepare the GG1 for them to
Yes.
So what if like somebody, so for example, if we have someone who's retiring,
Mhm.
and we know 6 months in advance they're going to retire, we cannot begin the
No.
processing to recruit?
No.
Is there a reason? Or?
We've tried that through DOA, and they tell us that it has to follow together. Yeah. Because sometimes we do that, and then last minute they change their mind.
Yeah, but maybe we can create some kind of conditional recruitment process where conditional upon this person actually effectuating their retirement, this switch will get turned on and this person will get brought in. You know, because that's actually one of the things we're working on in my office because I understand that a lot of the agencies, not just DPW, but they get kind of held back when somebody, we know someone's going to retire. We know that we're having the party on this day and we're planning it a month in advance, but we're not able to actually get the paperwork going to replace them because, that's just the way the system operates right now. So we're looking at some kind of pre-certification process. So we're working on that internally, but maybe we can talk more closely to see how exactly step by step it's problematic, at DPW. But you're going to be good to go 118 for 125.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, Senator Duenas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, on this one, Carl, your ability to hire your retirees is LTA, right? Is that how you process them, Frank?
Yes, that is, and thanks to the senator that passed the law that we can hire the retiree bus drivers.
So that could be your buffer.
It's conditional, though.
Yeah,
It's conditional.
Okay.
It was, and like Mr. Malay said, maybe we could talk to the senators to do something to, like the teachers where they have the substitute, where if somebody doesn't call in or calls in the morning, we have a substitute right then and there to replace them. But it's like I was just talking to the director the other day. The pay wage is competitive because on the newspaper the other day, one of the private companies is paying new hirees a little more sense than what we're paying them at starting.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Carl. Actually, yeah, let's explore that to where you have a bank of 20 guys,
Yes, we can call on short
and
notice.
they know that they're on call.
Yeah, they're on call.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And the retirees are even willing to do that way.
Yeah, that's cool because they probably don't want to work a full schedule, but
Yeah.
they don't mind being on call that week.
Plus, they also have the training.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you
so
just
it's not like-
pre-certify them; they're good to go, and they know all the conditions, and then they're on call like the teachers. Good idea. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Robert. Okay. Franklin, you're still on.
Okay, on the procurement in progress, the 60 passengers, that's at GSA for the 12, hopefully more, depending on the price range, buses that we're trying to get more. Then there's a grant application approved for a 60 passenger again with maybe 16 more buses.
I want to report that I've been personally informed by senior management at GSA that the first line up there, the 12, will go up to bid next week. On the second line, may I add that we are just waiting for something called an authorization to proceed document from the Department of Interior to enable us to actually go forward with procurement of those, what we anticipate will be at least 16 buses.
Okay, and then on the driver requirements, good physical condition. What happens is DOA is the one that accepts all the applications, so they screen all the applications. They got to be good physical condition, cleared police court, background checks, subject to periodic random and post-accident drug testing. Must possess a chauffeur's license, which is just a B, chauffeur's driver's license, and then we go through the annual safe driving refresher course, annual CPR. We're working hand in hand with, matter of fact, in August, we have a training coming up with GDOE on PBIS and student behavior.
Senator Yamashita.
Any
Senator
questions?
Yamashita has a question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm glad you're having your drivers trained in PBIS. I also think it's really important that all of our bus drivers be trained in how to work with people with disabilities. I know that you only have a few students with disabilities riding your buses, but that is something that families more and more are going to be pushing for in their IPE. And so when Senator Brown was the director at DPWE, it raised this, and I'm about 100% certain that GDOE would be very happy to also work with your drivers in that, in how to, what the different disabilities are and how to work with those students.
We started off already with, and the reason why they picked one particular substation is because there's a child that had autism from that one particular area. So all the drivers from the ordered substation have gone through a training with some of the GDOE staff on
Right.
that particular area. And when they came up to me, I told them, I said, let's not just train one driver. Let's train everybody at the station so that way if that one person's not in, the world doesn't revolve around him and somebody else can take that run.
I thank you for that. So, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Director, I would like to see as an intended outcome that all under 18 drivers, as well as supervisors, receive the training in how to work with people of diversity. I just think that's just, that's the way it works right now with our world. Mr. Director, you look a little...
Yeah, who would provide the training, Senator? Who would
I
offer
believe
the training?
Mr. Malay would be able to find people in the special education units
Okay.
who do that with other parties. But, right now, special ed, GDOE has their own fleet of vans.
Yes.
But again, more and more families want their students integrated from the very beginning, just to be integrated and to get a handle on our life as we grow. And so yes, GDOE would be able to identify people from special education and from the curriculum office who know how to train people and how to, as far as the values and identification, the strategies, and then how to work with families on this.
Actually, Senator, at one time when when Public Works was responsible for the sped transportation, we were the one that's going through the training with conducting the training, having the driver's train. But that's now moved over to GDOE. We've come across where we went to meetings at the schools, and it's not that we're not being, like I said before in prior hearings, whether the child is green, blue, black, yellow, green, orange, whatever color, we're going to transport them as long as they can get on and off the bus by themselves, because the driver's not supposed to leave his seat to get out and help a student, because anything could happen. And as long as they can get on and off the bus, and we explain this to the parents, that in the event, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but in the event a bus overturns, we don't want everybody to be trampling over that one student, but there's things that we can work out for that. We advise them that we cannot put the wheelchair in the bus because the aisles are not wide enough and there's no place for us to secure a wheelchair. But we've transported students that are blind. We've had autism students in the bus, but we see the drivers don't know that. It's some sort of confidentiality that GDOE has with the student, but we don't know whether the child has a seizure or anything. So when we do go to the meetings, then they let us know. But we do have that in the bus.
Good, I'm glad to hear. And again, we would hope that the whole fleet of drivers get that kind of training. And, I'm certain that families who want to ride your buses would be very open to having you understand our disabilities, what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are. And you do have to know that, because how else can you best service
Exactly.
them, right? So those are the steps that need to be taken. But Mr. Director, again, I'm certain that Mr. Malay would be very happy to figure out who can provide that kind of training for us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the recommendation. So this set of slides, I'll turn over to Paul Sabeta.
Good morning again, Senators. Right now, Transportation Maintenance currently has 14 mechanics. 8 of them are dedicated strictly to the school bus operation. 3 of them are light auto shop. 2 of them are in the heavy equipment shop, and 1 is what we call the field service repair guy. He takes care of the heavy equipment. We got 1 auto service worker, 1 equipment operator, and 3 administrative staff. 1 is me, the other 1 is the auto repair controller, and the third 1 is our administrative assistant. The next slide is just a rough estimate of how much it would cost for maintenance on a school bus, 60 passenger. Like I said again, it's a rough estimate. So it comes out to about $6,369.13 times 129 school buses. So that's about $821,617.77.
Now this is just the regular maintenance,
Yeah,
right? So like if we have those special
that's
issues,
a separate
Okay.
leaf
That's
spring.
different.
yeah. And so this is this is the bare minimum that we need for like
Yeah,
a ongoing regular
yeah, basically this is
maintenance.
what I actually stock.
So
in
what
the supply room.
happens? What happens? Oh, this is what you have. This is what
Yeah,
you
that's
stock.
what we have stock because they're fast-moving items. We know we need them, so we stock them. Fuel filters, brakes, tires, oil filter, air cleaner, those necessities.
You know, I really, maybe we can talk more later,
Mhm.
but I really want to try and get a better handle on this issue of these like these specialty
Okay.
issues.
Yeah.
And maybe if we do need to appropriate, you know, let's get a number,
Mhm.
and if we can appropriate a slightly larger amount,
Okay.
just for you know stocking a couple of these items. You know, I mean, if it means putting 2 or 3 more buses on the road, that might actually be worth the amount. You know, so let's figure out maybe a dollar amount, and we can create a new line item here. Call it like
It's in the next couple of slides. And
oh, is it
Yeah.
the
Yeah. The next slide is going to show the 84 passenger bus, and what we foresee is what we're going to need. Since those are newer buses, of course, it's less amount to maintain them.
No, what I'm talking about is like, for example, those really unique items that
Oh,
you
like
need to
the leaf
order.
spring?
Yeah, those
Okay,
kind of
okay.
things. And so maybe if we can just have like a dollar reserve amount in there for those things, and then you know maybe they're not as common as you would encounter, but maybe out of 100 buses, you know that 10% of the time you might need this part.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe we want to stock one of those. You know, we can probably work out the numbers there, and then include that in the appropriation. You know, like I said, if it gets another bus on the street, and if it helps your maintenance crew to be able to fix these things instead of waiting around for 6 months for the procurement, you know, then let's try and get that.
Okay, this is the slide. This is the additional needs or additional fundings I am going to need. On the 230 object class, which is contractual, is the blanket for rebuild of alternator and starter. Also for 100,000 for the repair of the flooring and engine replacement. 240 is the parts, materials, and supply, and that's the 500,000 for unforeseen breakdowns, which includes the leaf spring, kingpins, air compressor, fuel pumps, so and so, so and so.
As you can see, they're pricey.
Yeah, this is the amount here, but this is the real deal, right?
Yeah,
This is what
yeah,
actually this is what we encounter. You know,
Yeah.
so even if it's costly, if we want the fleet to be operating at an optimum, it's what we're going to need. Okay. Now, do these typically get included in the appropriations, or are these kind of they're already included? So,
They're-
but we don't stock them.
No, we don't. We don't. If anything, if we do decide to stock them, we only stock like 1 or 2.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Uh,
there's nothing preventing you from stocking some of
No,
these.
don't,
Actually,
no. There's nothing.
There's nothing
Nothing.
preventing us from doing
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, next page is we also got a DOI grant to fund for a fleet maintenance system software. It's in the procurement process. It's done also at GSA. This will help us a lot when it comes to managing the fleet. It's going to also incorporate the GPS system that the bus is getting, so they're going to marry together. So this is what we've been waiting for so many years, and thank God we're going to get it. Hopefully, procurement goes through, but it's in the process right now.
Yes, Arlene Pierce, Controller. I wanted to also add that the major objective is to save on fuel, to track all the wear and tears and the mileage, and to monitor our fuel consumption.
So on this particular procurement for the this fleet management software, that's different from what we appropriated for, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that
That
on
is
that
correct.
on that line item that we appropriated for, we did not say that needs to exclude that. You know, it's a fleet management software also that we've appropriated for in the last budget cycle. So even if this DOI map funding doesn't go through, it doesn't mean that you cannot include that as an add-on to the GPS thing if it's available.
That is correct. They will interface.
Okay.
The intent is to interface so we can track everything
Okay.
in this software application.
And Mr. Chairman, as soon as we find out what the bid process brings out, we'll notify you right away
Okay,
what
great.
that cost is.
So this 200,000 DOI map funding, that's already been secured?
Yes, we have a federal grant by Interior.
Okay.
It's a maintenance assistance program. It's independent apart from our procurement for buses. It's a standalone grant, and is 100% federally funded.
And we got it already.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir.
so we know
have
we
procured.
know we got the money for this.
Yes, sir.
And we know we have the money for that GPS thing.
That's correct, sir.
So you guys are all set and getting
Yes.
it all. Once the green light turns on, we're going to be able to get that turned
Yes.
on.
It's in a
Exciting.
requisition stage at this time. We're
Wonderful.
awaiting procurement.
Okay. And the ability to interface, you guys have already kind of ironed that out. You're pretty sure that it will interface with the GPS.
It's
and
part of the bid
It's part of the bid package.
Okay, wonderful. It's exciting. We'll probably see the report, the first report on that next July, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, this next set of slides, I'll turn over to Arlene.
What I wanted to do was to provide to you financial information related to our bus operations, transportation maintenance, and our fuel consumption for 3 fiscal years. Starting with 2012, we were appropriated by the Budget Act at about $8.4 million, and we have expenditures and encumbrances of about 7.6. We ended the fiscal year with a balance of about 813,000. A large portion of this unused amount reflects the required reserves in the account, and the difference for we had a contingency in the event the fuel prices went up and down, and also we had this year in 2012 we had a public law 30-216 that gave us 1.8 million that we were using as much as we can because of a time requirement, and a lot of it also was our year-end cutoff. We're doing as much as we can before the year end. In fiscal year 2013, our appropriations went up. It's about $9 million. Our expenditures and encumbrances are about 8.5. We closed at 527,000. Again, a large chunk of these are as a result of reserves and the price of fuel as a contingency. Currently, this is what we're tracking. We're going to close the fiscal year hopefully with a zero balance, and we still have 4 more months to go. Looking at a comparative and a graph here on the bar chart, we're fairly, we have small amounts of increase for 2013, and we hope to close a little bit larger in 2014.
Okay, we do have a couple questions here. I do have some. I know Senator Uggan does as well, so I'll go ahead and yield to him if he can.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, folks, or good morning, folks. Just a quick question, because I noticed in fiscal year 2012, fiscal year 2013, that you had some additional unexpended resources in the Guam Highway Fund. Now, my question is, based on the revenue projection, was the revenue projection on mark? Because I find it very peculiar that you would have additional reserves in those 2 particular funds in 2 fiscal years and not necessarily expending them, like for example with the maintenance and whatnot. So if it's only specifically restricted to T&M, bus ops, fuel, perhaps you can work with the chairman and see if everything that's under general bus operations with the general fund, once that's exhausted for the fiscal year, that perhaps you can be given additional flexibility in terms of utilizing the Guam Highway Fund. So that's an option to discuss with the chairman, but that's the question I have. Based on the revenue projection for the Guam Highway Fund for fiscal year 12, fiscal year 13, did the revenue projection meet its mark? Because you're showing about $13,000 in fiscal year 12 unexpended under the Guam Highway Fund, and then in fiscal year 13 you're showing about 527,000 unexpended. I understand your concern about the cost of fuel fluctuations, and certainly that's a very legitimate issue, but as you move towards the end of the FY, if you've already exhausted all the resources under the general fund, then perhaps a little bit of flexibility can be provided to the department.
Yes, thank you very much. We work closely with Budget Office and DOA, and a lot of times at the beginning of the fiscal year, your forecast will come out. Basically, we work hand in hand with them, and communications have greatly improved. And moving forward, that certainly is in our tracking.
Are you aware of any restrictions for using Guam Highway funds for TM and bus ops and fuel?
I just know that in this current budget year, whatever is unused in the Guam Highway Fund stays in the Guam Highway Fund. However, we're not certain if it's going to stay within DPW.
Right.
We just know it will roll over.
Obviously subject to reappropriation. And that's why I'm saying if in fact the government realizes the $500,000 that's the
great,
flexibility I'm
yes.
talking about. And if you don't already have that flexibility, then by all means, that's an issue to discuss with the chair. But
Well, with the
if,
change, with the add-on from that new law to maintain the funds, it certainly has us it's in our favor.
okay,
Thank you for that.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I was crunching some of the numbers myself, and I'm just a little concerned also because based on your tracking up until June 18th, 2014, which is pretty much the last, we're going into the last quarter of the fiscal
Yes.
year. Um, your expenses are tracking to have a surplus of 926,000 by the end of the fiscal year. Is that what you guys are looking at also? Because if you take the 9421736, which is the appropriation, right? 21736, and you divide that by 4 quarters, that comes out at 2.3 million, right? That's 2.3 million per quarter that you should be authorized to expend. And if you less that 2.3 million from the 3.2 million, it comes out to oops, I'm sorry. 2,355,434. So 3,281,946 minus 2,355,434. That comes out to $926,512. So if your spend rate for the last quarter of the fiscal year is going to match the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year, you're tracking to have a surplus of 926,000, which is almost double what your surplus was in 2013. So I share the same concerns as Senator Uggan. We always talk about how we want more drivers, we want more maintenance personnel, we want more supplies and materials to be able to fix the buses. And if funding is really a concern, how is it that we're having leftover money? And technically what happens is that these funds lapse, and you guys should have been able to encumber and expend these monies for the operations.
The first line item on the bus operations, that 1.9 million, will totally be payroll. So the remainder on the TM would be procuring towards the shortly.
Yeah, with TM where it says the encumbrance is 747 and the balance of 830, we're still in the procurement process with parts, materials, and supply. So that will go down towards the end of the fiscal year. We still have requisitions that are out there that are not processed yet. So that's why the amount is kind of high.
Okay, so it's not encumbered yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on their desktop, and there will be more coming.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at the early July.
Okay.
And historically, the last couple of years, you can see on the slides that on the fuel side, we have been on the positive, and hopefully it'll stay that way. With things going on in the Middle East, you can never know what fuel will spike like here on Guam. So we've been very fortunate the last 2 to 3 school years that the fuel prices have been fairly stable.
Yeah, so what happens to that fuel money after the fiscal year lapses and we have 275,000 in 2013?
And this is where former senator was letting us know that it's favorable to on fiscal year 2014 that the balances in the Guam Highway Fund stays in the Guam Highway Fund.
Carryover.
And this is where correct carryover or rollover, and this is where we will be working with BBMR and DOE.
So because we don't have that carryover provision, this money is kind of going into the great abyss of cash moving around in the government.
Well, in the prior 2 fiscal years, at the end of the fiscal year, it's an annual account. What's unused, unspent, it dies because it's only an annual. Whereas this fiscal year will be a continuing, it'll roll over.
If we have the carryover
That's correct,
provision.
sir. That's correct.
Okay. It looks like we have something to stick into the budget this year. Okay. Thank you so much. Go ahead and continue, Artie.
The last couple of times we made a presentation to you, we included the challenges, and this time around we've just listed what we feel are some of our major challenges. We still have the 179 routes that we presented last time, and Franklin, I think the 179 just has remained steady for the new school year. Can you report what will happen for the new school year?
Yes, the 179 routes will still remain the same. And everybody's question is, what about Natitan High School? Natitan High School is not going to affect us because the students that were going to Okudu before would just go straight up. They'll just ride the same bus, go to a different location. But the time starts different. They start earlier than they used to start before. So all those students that were moved will just get on the same bus that they were riding before and go to a different school. It won't go not they won't go back to their same school. It's just going to go to a different school. So we've been working with DOE on the scheduling for that. Yes, we still have the 179 routes. It didn't add any route to. We just went from one location to a different location. Same thing with the Okudu, the movement of the Okudu students and the Simon Sanchez students, and the JFK. The two buses that were going for JFK that came out of the ordered substation would now, instead of them going to JFK, they would be going up towards Natitan High School.
The second bullet point will adjust operations as the military buildup occurs. My recollection of the SEIS is that the buildup is gradual, starting in 2016. I think it's 2019 or 2020 that it'll peak. So we have some time. You saw the slide where we're getting we anticipate getting at least 28, even possibly more school buses here over the next, I would say, 12 months. And so that the bus fleet will increase. We'll use the new buses, kind of park the oldest buses, and use them in reserve. So as the buildup occurs, I anticipate that the issue will be the number of drivers that we'll have. So we'll just see how that occurs. I believe the SEIS predicts that the increase at the peak will be something in the order of 600 new students to the school population. We think it's going to be greater than that, considerably greater than that, but we'll just adjust as that happens. Aging bus fleet has been a challenge, but again, we're optimistic with the procurement of the new school buses. That'll help us out a big deal. We're always concerned about the turnover of our personnel in bus operations. I've said repeatedly that we can get a resignation, a five-day notice for a resignation, but often it takes upwards of 4 months to get a replacement behind the wheel of a school bus. That's always a concern. From Paul's side, he'd like to see a few more mechanics, in his staff, particularly. Well, with the new school buses, you typically you don't get as much servicing, except for the typical oil changes and that sort of thing. But as the fleet builds up, we'll be looking at that and keep you posted on that. Updates. We reported that we still had the 5 dilapidated bus substations that needed to be upgraded. I regret that hasn't been done yet. We've run into some technical difficulties, and I'm personally working on that, and hope by certainly promise by the next report, where if it's next June or July, that'll be done by then. Okay. I repeat, we have more buses coming in the next months and beyond, and also to help us out with maintaining the bus fleet. Paul here has ordered some new service vehicles, and I'll have him describe that to you.
Yes, Senators, we ordered 3 service vehicles. That's utility vehicles for the troubleshooters. So right now, the average age, the newest vehicle we have for the troubleshooters is a 1994 Toyota truck, which is just about gone. So we ordered 3. And then we got
those things to last like 30 years, man.
almost.
I drove a 94 Hilux for like almost 20 years.
Yep,
Yeah.
almost. So we have 3 on the way over. We have a budget for that. We're getting those in. Then we got a DOI grant also for more vehicles. I'm getting an additional 3. So those will be coming in.
I know Senator Uggan did have a question, so I'll go ahead and yield to him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question with regards to your aging bus fleet. I think it's very commendable that you're working on acquiring 28 additional buses, but then I noticed some of your buses are 16, 18, 22, 24 years old. Now, what is the life expectancy for some of these buses? And incidentally, in this case, Paul, I'm still driving a 19-year-old Toyota T100, and I told my wife it's going to last another 5 years, so at a minimum. And it's all preventive maintenance, obviously, you know that. So what is the life expectancy of a number of these buses?
I think we've been saying this the past few years that the typical life expectancy we think is around 10 years. I will say this: we will not allow a bus to go on the road
No,
unless
we
it's
understand.
roadworthy. It's got to have good brakes, good tires, good steering. All the lights have to work, and it's just we won't let it on the road. And Franklin, can you inform them what's required of a bus driver when they first start out their day?
Well, in the morning, what the driver does is he's allowed 15 minutes to pre-check his bus. He's given a sheet of paper, and there's 25 points that you got to check: the lights, the chairs, the seatbelt, everything that, in a sense, you check to make sure that everything makes noise except for the horn. But everything has to work: the lights, the brakes, the
Just
and-
not too much noise, right?
And in the on one of the slides you saw a compressor. It's because all of our buses are run by air brakes. So everything has to be checked: the seat belts, the emergency buzzers, the wipers. And there's a list of 25 items. And then if they find that it's not working, they got to fill out the paperwork. Then they turn it into the shop.
And I'd like to report to the committee that I feel strongly that at least in the 3.5 years I've been at the Department of Public Works, that we actually have had a very good safety record. Yes, we have an occasional fender bender, but overall we haven't had any students that have had anything even close to a serious injury that I'm aware of. And Franklin, I hope you can confirm that. Now I'm talking about the 3.5 years that I've been at DPW, and so I think we have an enviable record, safety record with bus operations at DPW. And again, it's not just the drivers, but it's also their supervisors, the training that Franklin and his staff give to them annually, and also I have to compliment the mechanics. They're the ones that fix the brakes and the horns and the lights and that change the tires and that sort of thing, as well as Franklin's own people that chip in. And so I want to compliment the hardworking men and women, all of them at DPW, and also that support the school bus operation.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carl. The smoothness, oftentimes, the ability to provide a consistent level of service is not really regarded as a success, and it actually is, And I think that what you just stated is very, very correct. The department, in and of itself, being able to have a smooth school year has succeeded a great deal in its mission. And I wanted to add to the mechanics. When I was looking at the beyond life expectancy ability of the mechanics in the department, I was thinking to myself, I hope that after you guys retire, you guys go and get your medical degrees and get into the medical field so that you can keep everybody going beyond life expectancy. That's just a really good job, you guys. Really good job. And that's one of the reasons why I really appreciate Senator Uggan bringing up the carryover provision that we'll look at for the budget, because we got to keep those resources available for you guys to be able to do what you do. If you don't mind, I'd like to call Mr. Malay up if he can give us an attestation as to the working relationship with DPW and what his experience has been like over the last school year, just to make sure that everything that we're hearing from DPW is consistent with what's being provided to DOE. Mr. Malay.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Senator Uggan, Senator Yamashita, Senator Duenas. Rob Malay with the Department of Education. The relationship that we have with the Department of Public Works is a very strong relationship. We collaborate often and frequently on any number of things. As you've heard, we do work with the drivers in providing training, but whenever there are concerns with routings or bell schedules, we instantly honestly, I get phone calls at 6 o'clock in the morning from Mr. Titano. If there is something that he is concerned with, he shares right away. And I know if he's calling, it's because it's something that he wants to make sure that we're all on the same page and working together hand in hand with. And it's been very positive, very productive. And that's why I think that you're seeing that it's pretty smooth, because of that relationship. And we continue to foster that relationship under the leadership of Director Dominguez and Superintendent Fernandez. We do continue to foster that relationship, which is why we came down here in support of Public Works and the bus operations at the Oversight here today.
And just to make sure that what my perception is and what Carl's sharing is consistent with DOE's experience, has last school year been an exceptionally smooth year? I mean, should we give a round of applause for DPW busing today?
I think so. I
Absolutely.
think they've earned it and they deserve it.
Excellent job, guys. Thank you, Mr. Malay. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I know that we do have a bus operation to run, but I did want to. If you have anything else you'd like to.
Yeah,
Okay.
on this slide, I just
sure.
want to acknowledge the legislature for their continued support of our school bus operations. But I do want to take this opportunity to thank the Lieutenant Governor's Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, the First Lady's Regalu Foundation, and the community and volunteers, for adding, I think in the last 18 months we have at least 10 brand new, beautiful concrete bus shelters up there. That's just the 10 new ones. There's dozens over the last 2 to 3 years. There's been dozens of school bus shelters that have been adopted by the community and individuals, and they go out there and they paint them, spruce them up, and it's fun to see these bus shelters be spruced up and painted the way they are. And so I just want to acknowledge everybody that's contributed to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez. And so just to recap what we've talked about today, and to kind of set the goals that we can look forward to for the coming school year and fiscal year, we want to first maintain the smooth operations that we've had for school services over the last school year going into the upcoming school year. We want to try and get our bus fleet higher than 119 for the start of the school year, just that we can show that, last school year was 119, this school year we're 120. Just any kind of improvement we can show is a win. We want to get that procurement for the fleet management and the GPS squared away. And that will go hand in hand with what Senator Uggan brought up for the carryover provision for the Guam Highway Fund, because once we have those two things in place, we'll be saving money on fuel. That savings is carried over for future use by the department, so it'll be a very good synergy there. We're looking forward to the procurement of at least 12 and as much as 28 new buses for fiscal year 2015. And we're looking forward to the renovation of the 5 satellite facilities. And hopefully, Carl, we can move that up to higher up on the list, because that was something that we're looking forward to in the current fiscal year. So if we can get on top of that as well. But did I miss anything here? Oh, sure, Senator. Oh, the training for the thank you, Senator Yamashita. Yes, training for the bus drivers for the those students who require those special services. And anything else? Good to go? Okay. Looking forward to a good school year, guys. Thank you very much, Senator Duenas, Senator Uggan.
I just have one.
Sure.
I just wanted to point out Paul and the management team and all the team here. I want to congratulate you. A year and a half ago, we sat down at the table and said, Paul, what do you need? There was a lot of talk about, what are some of the other arrangements we can make, and you said, give me the tools and we'll do it. You've proven it. Your team has proven it. Here we are a year and a half later. You got buses on the way, and you got what you need on the road. And I want to join the chairman in saying, definitely. I want to say one thing, and I think the GPS thing will handle this. The only complaint I did get once in a while, and tell the guys, I'm sure they know, let's not get in a hurry even if we're late. I get a call once in a while, man, Senator, I had a bus pass me. So just tell our guys, never mind, if we're late, we're late. But that's the only thing. I think the GPS thing will handle it. But Paul and the team, great job, and you proved that if we give you the tools, you can do it. Thanks, guys, and Frank as well. Thanks.
Senator Uggan?
No, I think thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the last statement on your last slide, Mr. Dominguez, sir,
right, guys, thank you so much. Let's look forward to a very good school year of bus operations and DOE working hand in hand. I'm going to go ahead and adjourn this oversight hearing at 11:04 this morning. Thank you all, everyone, very much for coming.